Welcome to Dr. Crystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Crystal, a doctor of East Asian medicine and a holistic transformational coach. Here we will shine light on wisdom keepers, paradigm shifters who inspire us to live thriving, joyful lives. Let's be inspired. Although I am a doctor of East Asian medicine, this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It does not replace professional medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for guidance on your personal health needs. Hello, welcome to Dr. Crystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Crystal, and today I am so excited to introduce this amazing goddess, Shereen. Shereen is a faith-embodied mentor, yoga teacher, breath-informed guide. She has certifications in life coaching, yoga, energy healing at mastery level, licensed massage therapist, and esthetician. She does day retreats, women's circles, one-on-one. Here's a quote. She says, "I teach people how to regulate their nervous system and elevate their consciousness so they can decode scripture, hear God clearly, and walk with unshakable discernment. My work bridges faith embodiment and higher consciousness so people can rise into the version of themselves God originally planned." I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to be on here. I'm honored to be here with you.
Yeah, so we always start off, or sometimes I like to start off with, what does sacred mean to you?
It's really interesting because as I was thinking about this, like sacred to me, something that I found really interesting was like the words sacred and scared are literally one letter twisted.
Right.
Right. And so that feels really symbolic to me. I found this out, like I had this epiphany in the pandemic in 2020 when I was like we were all having a spiritual awakening in 2020. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, a lot of the time I experience sacred moments or sacred initiation or something that is like God is at the center of is when I'm scared to do something and I walk through that doorway and then I experience a sacred remembering or like something that's like, oh, I'm safe to be here. Sacred to me is like a safety.
Mm.
It's like walking through a portal to another dimension.
Mm.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like, yeah, like when I first started teaching yoga, it was like I'm so scared to walk into this class and teach this class, but
yeah.
there's so much beauty in stepping into the unknown. And to me, that's sacred. It's like the mystery.
Mm. Yes, I love that. It's always so interesting to hear people's interpretation. It's hard to put into words.
It is.
So, as you know, this is about sacred stories. So, what stories on your heart to share today?
Yeah, so, well, I just kind of wanted to touch on, I guess, like my journey of, kind of like who I was, what happened, and then like who I am now and how I've come into the work that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a very Muslim home. My dad is Muslim, my mom was Catholic, and I always had this like religious, you know, God-centered, even though it may have been a little bit skewed to me growing up. So I always had this curiosity of finding God and like what does that mean? And yeah, so my dad's really, really, really religious in the Muslim faith.
Mm.
And so I was always surrounded by like devotion, prayer, ritual, and honoring God and reverence. And I also experienced this like deep pressure to be a certain way.
Mm.
Like I had to meet these crazy expectations. This like, it felt like this like level of perfectionism that I could never meet.
Right.
And so it created a deep hunger really for me for personal embodied relationship with God. Like I always wanted to know and feel what God feels like, because the God that was kind of presented to me was really kind of scary. And like you're going to go to hell. I think in both like
Mm.
Catholicism and Islam, it's very like fear-based in the religious aspects. And then, so that transferred me into like, yeah, I remembered being in seventh grade, going to the library, trying to like look up books to figure out should I be Muslim or Christian?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
12 years old, seventh grade,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And so Um, I struggled with like a lot of anxiety growing up as a kid, and I never knew how to like regulate my nervous system and how to like come back into my body. I was always like, I just was like trying to float away,
Mhm.
and I couldn't be here on like planet Earth. Like I just didn't understand how to be human. And so yeah, I had experienced a lot of really like dark night of the soul type of things. And I was kind of like having an existential crisis as like a child, all the way up until maybe like 10 years ago.
Right.
So yeah, I was like 25, had like another existential crisis happen. And then I kind of like I woke up to this like, where am I? Who am I? What is this life that I'm living? Like, what is going on? And so it catapulted me into, I have 8 years of recovery
Mhm.
in many different types of fellowships in the anonymous programs. And that was like, along with my journey of like, I didn't know who I was or how to connect to God or myself or my body or people. Like, I finally was able to like explore, oh, what is just like operating in the unconscious mind. That's like, as you know, I mean, I think a lot of people know, and if you don't know, that's great too. But the subconscious mind is like 90% and the conscious mind is 10%. Like it's like I know what I have to do tomorrow, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and do the laundry, and then I have to go here and then meet with that person, and we don't realize that like our subconscious mind is operating our lives.
Right. So, what's the underlying current motivating your behaviors?
Exactly. Yeah. And so this was just like, my recovery became this thing, this like anchor for me, like almost like a blueprint of, oh, okay, like I was like a baby learning how to walk in the world. Like,
Mhm.
it was just like I had so much fear piled on top of one thing after another that I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust myself, most importantly, because once we can trust ourselves, it's like then I have a whole new perception of the world, right?
Mhm.
And so I started practicing yoga like right before my recovery process happened. And I would say that was like definitely the starting point. I just remembered you know, going into the new year of 2018 and being like, I don't think I'm going to drink this New Year's. I'm just going to see what that's like, you know? And I didn't. I didn't. And how they say like how you start your year is how your whole year is kind of going to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a month later, I stopped drinking and doing all kinds of other fun things that people do. And practicing yoga. And I remembered being in yoga class, like I can't feel this like part of my body, or like I can't lift my leg all the way up, or
Mhm.
so it just kept getting deeper and deeper the more time that went on, and the more I was able to look into this, into myself, into intimacy. Into me, I see.
Oh, love that. And
Yeah.
was that Kundalini yoga?
Well, Kundalini yoga, no, it was just like regular,
Regular.
like vinyasa yoga, hatha flow, like normal, like whatever that means, normal yoga. You know,
Mainstream,
mainstream.
common, the
Yes.
type that most people know. Yeah.
The type most people know is like yoga asana, which is postural movement, right? Practice.
Hmm.
And yeah, it started there. It started really like connecting with the breath. What is my breath? How am I breathing? I started to also yoga went hand in hand with my healing journey. And then in 2019, I found Kundalini. So I was like a year and a half into my process, and I found Kundalini, and I was going through a breakup.
Mm.
And it was like, I met this guy. I said I wasn't going to date anybody at all. And I met this guy. And of course, we fell in love. And it wasn't even love. It was totally like, I thought I loved him. He thought, and then it wasn't what it was. And it led me to another layer of myself. Like, oh, why do I keep dating these emotionally unavailable people? and
Mm.
and I remember I had this epiphany like, it's because I'm emotionally unavailable. And then I had this realization that, oh, I'm attracting what I am.
That mirror.
That mirror, yeah. And then I realized all relationships are mirrors of myself in some way.
Yeah.
So I dove even deeper, I was like, I'm a Scorpio. So like I go deep like into
Yeah.
transformative processes.
Deep into the dark,
Yeah.
unseen realms. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The darkness where it's like there's no light there and I can't see it clearly. And what I like to do is I like to go in and pull that shit out and then look at it and be
Yeah.
like, what is this? How can I learn deeper about this? So my whole like process has been really about my own self-discovery. Cause my aunt, when I was a young girl, she would always say, Shereen, I think you'd be a great life coach. And I was like, girl, I can't even do my own life. How am I supposed to help someone else with coach them in their lives and life in life? It's like, I can't do that. And I always had a hard time believing in myself, but through having mentors myself and through, community and, um, all different types of modalities. I mean, I just gave you like a short list of all my like certifications and everything. Um, but yeah, I've practiced like shamanic practices, medicine woman healings, um, Reiki, just any and everything, right? Like I've never been closed off. I really appreciate that about myself because I'm open to all things.
Hmm.
And then the more it's like, then I can choose who I want to be. Right. And it's like, that's what I encourage my clients and the women, especially women that I work with, to like, you can be your full authentic self without having to compromise any of it. Yeah. Kundalini is, if you don't know what Kundalini is for the people who are listening, Kundalini is a yoga practice. And Crystal, you and I share
Yeah.
this love for Kundalini too. But it's a practice that incorporates movement, breath, and mantra, so sound. And so to me, it's like encompassing the whole being.
Yeah. It's very concentrated and intense.
Yes.
Like they always said, do you want to take the train, the car, or the jet? That they all have the same destination and purpose. But Kundalini's the Raja power, take the jet for that like quick transformation.
Exactly. Yes. And Raja means like royal, that royal path, right? Like it's like this, woo, we're going to get there to liberation. Another aspect of my story has always been like, I've always been connected to Christ.
Mm.
And, it goes back to like my family lineage is Catholic, right? And my mom's side. And my mom is like a recovering Catholic. She's like she's not religious at all and is just like, "No, I don't know about that and we're not doing that." It was like so shame-based.
Yeah.
And and throughout my journey, it's just been like I've always come back. Like I remember my mom took me to church for the first time because it was so chaotic and I didn't know how to regulate myself and she didn't know what to do with me. And she took me to church. And I remembered, me and my dad always had this tumultuous relationship of like, I could never meet the expectation. And so she took me to church and they sometimes at different churches and different denominations and stuff, you want to come up and we'll pray for you. And so I went up and they prayed for me and they said, "Well, what do you want God to help you with?" And I said, "I want a relationship with my dad."
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, 14 or something. And so they prayed and prayed and I was bawling and crying, hysterically crying. And it's like, like what is that?
You felt the Holy Spirit.
Exactly.
Mm.
Which is the Kundalini energy.
Don't
By
tell
the
anybody.
way,
Don't tell anybody.
by the way, it's that so yeah. So I'm a bridge. I'm a bridge of worlds. That's really if I could put myself in a category, like
Oh, I could mirror that too.
yeah. Like bridging the gap,
Hmm.
right? Because there's a gap. Anyway, we'll come back to that. But I was in prayer.
Bridging cultures too, like being the in-between.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, that's my whole life story, right? I believe God and whatever you believe in, your higher power, a higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it's cool with me. But like we're meant to be in the bodies that we're meant to be in so that we could, because I believe we've all been given this gift, a special curated gift just for you.
Hmm.
And so there's no right or wrong way to be. And I think that's where people get like caught up in all of it.
Right. Or over-identified, and this is the only way. And if you aren't on this lane, then you are bad, wrong, and I'm gonna hate on you.
Correct.
That's done. No,
That's over.
done.
We're in the new earth now, people. Get with it. All that other minutia, that's all fear.
Yeah.
That's separation. That's not God.
It's illusion.
It's illusion. It's fake. It's not even a real thing.
And it's not our business to judge them.
No.
That's between them and God.
That's it.
Not our business.
And me it well, I'm going to come back to the church story really quick. So they're praying over me. My dad, I hadn't spoke to him in 3 months, and my dad calls me the minute I'm walking out of the church doors.
Wow.
And he said, "I want to just call you and tell you that I love you and to make sure you're okay."
Oh, he
And my
felt.
dad like never says I love you. Like it's like pulling teeth to have I love you from him.
Were your parents still married?
No, no. They are divorced since I was 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's an important part of the story. Yeah. They got divorced. It was hard. It was hard for me. They put me in therapy since I was like 6, right when the divorce happened.
Yeah.
I was analyzing my thoughts from the beginning of time. Why does this work this way? And why is this? And I see it as a blessing. I see it as a blessing now. But I grew up really fast, It was like I have an old soul. Everyone, since I was a little kid, like you have such an old soul. Have so much wisdom, and
Yeah.
I never understood what that meant until now. I do.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, back to what we were saying of like the fear and the separation and this, it rattles people's realities. I think that's what it's like everything I believe in, and you're telling me it's false.
Hmm.
It's earth shattering,
Yeah.
And so I have compassion for that. I have compassion for that because that's really hard. It's really hard. it's like your whole, that's when the death happens, the ego death. Then that's when, it's like when you die and like literal physical death and you go to the other realm, it's like seems scary, but then probably most likely on the other side, it's like this really beautiful experience and you're like one with God again and you're in bliss, pure bliss, right? Yeah, I always had a hard time being in this realm because I feel like I always remembered that feeling and I wanted that feeling and I was searching that feeling. I feel like that's what
Mm.
addiction is to anything, right? You could be addicted to all kinds of things. You could be addicted to learning. If it's out of balance, it's not good for you, right?
Yeah.
So, like that ego death. And so, people, I think, get really hooked on, like you said, the over identifying with something.
Mhm.
And, we're in a realm where now everybody's non binary, and there's this, I don't identify with this gender, I don't identify with this religion, whatever it is, right? And I think it's like an outward expression of what we've all been feeling for a really long time.
Yeah, dismantling. We'll see what's on the other side.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be so beautiful. It's like we're in this is like in the tarot cards, like the tower moment of like everything's falling apart. And this is also how what I teach people is like how to stay anchored in this war of darkness and light
Mm.
and how to have true discernment. And the only way to do that is through your own process, right? Like nothing outside of you is going to help you get there. I mean, there's tools, sure, that we can use, but I think ultimately, it's like I always pray for discernment. Like whenever I'm reading a book, whenever I'm reading the Bible, whenever I'm reading some, self-help book, it's like I could take what it's saying for whatever it's saying, or I could pray to have a clear mind and a clear heart so that I can take the information and have my highest self discern what it's really meaning or what it's really saying.
Mm. Instead of someone else's interpretation and then
Exactly.
blindly following that.
Exactly. Like, does this feel fully aligned for me right now? And Christ is just the thing that I've always come back to. It's just, I go away and I come back. I go away and I'm like, oh no, I don't mess with that. It's religion and I can't do that. And it's too, it's like anything I'm opposed to of like, no, no, and I'm pushing it away. It's because I need to actually go inward to that thing.
Mhm.
And then we can be a world of like, I'm triggered, that this whole world is like, I'm triggered now. They've triggered me. It's like, okay, and what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Yeah. So I just try to see the light in all things. And the way that I do that is through practice, through embodiment practices, through healing, cord cutting, like cutting cords away from people, taking my power back, like where I've given it away or someone's stolen it from me, or right. That's like the shamanic practice stuff. Like that's like where I bring that in of like, okay, you go to when you're a little kid, something traumatic happened in your childhood home, and there's a piece of your soul, fractalized piece of your soul that's still stuck there.
Mhm.
And so we go and it's like a soul retrieval, and you go and you pull it back. And so these are all things that I've done on with myself. Like I've done on myself. Like I don't teach people from a place of like, I just read a book and then this is how you do
Right.
it. Like most, not to, hey, I love therapy. I love therapy. I love my therapist. But I feel like a lot of therapists have a lot of book knowledge and don't have integrated experiences.
Some life experience and
Yeah, like their own, you can't just diagnose, like that's kind of messed up. Like you have bipolar disorder. It's like, what? Do you even know anything about that? Or, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I, have navigated from this like darkness into light. It's always like this transformational experience, this like transmuting, taking a deeper look. And now, I dated a bunch of weird guys, which were like a mirror of myself, right? It's not them, it's me. And now, I've moved to Austin, Texas. I was living in LA for a really long time, and I always knew I wanted to leave LA, but I didn't know when. And I had to meet my husband first. And so, yeah, we met. I did this again, like I told you, I'm always on this trajectory of transformation and healing and going deeper. And so I joined this leadership program. It's called Mastery and Transformational Training. And that's where we met.
That were Cat
Yeah.
Cat do that training too?
Yes. Yeah, actually, she did.
Sober DJ story? Yes.
Yes, her sober DJ story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and me and
You
Kat
met,
are really good friends.
yeah, and you met your husband there.
I met my husband there. He's my fiance right now. We're getting married in March.
Okay.
And I wasn't and in 2023, I declared out loud with my mouth, and this is also what I teach people how to pray properly. Because I mean, you can pray and I say, God help me. But like it says it like in scripture, which it's just scripture is a really great tool. It's a toolbox.
Hmm.
And it says, declare it with your mouth. you know? So what you want to create, you can declare it with your mouth, say it out loud. This is like the mantra, right? The vibrational energy that you're putting out. And so I said, God, remember screaming, I'm done. I'm done. I'm only saving my energy for my husband.
Hmm.
And then I entered into this program, didn't even know it was him. I didn't even see him as like a possibility at all. And he's younger than me. And I just like was like, no, he's cool, but he's my friend. And yeah, and we met there and we fell in love. And you have to wait before if you want to date somebody in the program, you have to wait 30 days after you graduate to like make sure because it's a lot of intimacy you're sharing and openness and
Hmm.
you could fall in love with anybody there, at any time.
You're,
So yeah.
you're in a bliss
So
bubble.
say that again.
You're in a bliss bubble.
Yeah, literally. Because you're healing, you're crying, you're screaming, you're transforming. And so, yeah, we got to know each other from the inside out. And like, also, relationships are really important to me.
Mm.
Really, really important to me. I can't do this life alone. And not just in relationship with a man or a partner, but like, I can't do this life alone in the sense of, I think a lot of people and I myself have been in isolation and trying to do it on my own and trying to figure it out by myself. It's just a part of my life path that like it's really important for me to have a sacred union partnership.
Yeah.
I was never going to settle. I couldn't. And so I didn't.
Mhm.
And then I found him and we found each other and just happened so organically. And yeah, now we're engaged and our wedding is in March. And this was just like, I never thought it was like a possibility because I didn't see a great example of married people,
Mhm.
or a great example of healthy relationships.
Right.
We moved to Austin. We went to India. I mean, it's been a crazy year. This year has been a wild, wild year. And before that, before we moved in, and his mom had cancer. She still has cancer, but she's healing. And I actually moved in to help him take care of his mother
Oh, in LA or Austin?
in LA.
Okay.
And so I started going to church again. It was like some non-denominational church in Highland Park, it's amazing. If you live in LA and you're feeling the call to check it out, check Jesus out or whatever, like go to Cathedral in Highland Park. It's a vibration. It's a vibrational frequency that you can't miss.
Mm.
And every first Wednesday of the month, they have worship night. And so you're literally just worshiping and praying and singing your heart out. And I love to sing. I mean, it's just so fun for me. I'm a singer. I've always been in choir and stuff like that when I was younger. And, her and we were kind of clashing. And then we found out she had cancer. And, just because someone has cancer, it doesn't mean their resentment just disappears because,
Yeah.
you know, And so I remembered going, and there this worship song came on, and it was like, purify your mind, empty your heart, empty your mind and purify your heart. Like, God, empty my mind and purify my heart.
Oh, I love that.
It was beautiful. And I literally heard God say,
Mm.
get on your knees for this woman.
Oh.
And my ego was like, no, I'm not getting on my knees. I'm not doing that. No. And next thing you know, I fall to my knees and I'm like pouring out, like literally my head is, I'm kneeling over and I can literally feel energetically my mind being
Oh,
clarified, purified.
yeah.
Like all the gunk of like resentment and anger and whatever low vibrational feelings emptying out into the earth.
Wow.
And my heart is just being purified. It's like this, like, I'll never forget it. It's like this water that's like just washing it clean.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And then literally it was like that was Wednesday night. And I felt so powerless. Like I didn't know how to help him. I didn't know how to like deal with somebody whose mother is dying, like my heart was like breaking for him. Saturday came and I just remembered all day Saturday, like crying, just a more purification, just like bawling. And I didn't know why I was so like depressed or like feeling like, obviously my partner's mother has cancer, but that didn't feel like why I was grieving. It felt like I was grieving something else. And then it came to like the download dropped in and I met up with him and I, got him some bread from the farmer's market and just brought some like little gifts for him and his little brother. And I said, God has placed it on my heart to like move in here and help you take care of your mother.
Wow.
And he said, I wanted to ask you that, but I really wanted it to come from you. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay. So, we went to the hospital to like tell his mom. I kept saying, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure it's okay? Like, you know, and we went to go talk to his mom about it and say, like, what do you think? And she was crying and said, yeah, like that would be amazing. And his mom is a polio survivor
Wow.
on top of everything else. And so she's, in a wheelchair and like basically like she couldn't ever, she grew, she had a house full of boys and she was the only woman and she's not fully able to make a house a home in the way that she always desired to. And so I said, I want you to know that if I'm moving in, I'm going to make the house really beautiful for us. And, and so that's my thing. Like, I love beauty. I love aesthetically pleasing things,
Yeah.
brings me joy. And so I did just that. I took basically my whole apartment at the time was like an altar. And I just like moved all that stuff and, pieces of Mother Mary and like a lion painting that I, added to it. And anyway, so yeah, I moved in and helped take care of her. And it was an initiation. It was, it sounds all beautiful, but it was definitely very, very challenging. And it was a shift from living in my own free space to now I'm in a family dynamic.
Mhm.
And there was so much healing that went into that with like being even more emotionally available. And, I think that's the whole point, right? It's like being so available to love
Mm.
to the point where it's no longer your ego operating it. It's like,
Something greater comes through.
yeah,
You've shared two sacred stories, a little bit about your journey, your path, and then this rite of passage before getting married. I mean, what a great experience to awaken your love and see what you're capable of, to like surrender into that divine heart, that high heart of service and love, even when your ego didn't want to. And, that talking from going from darkness to light, the Wahe Guru. Wow. Going from darkness to light. Isn't the universe amazing? And I'm so grateful for you and your stories. And I know that there's so many more that you could share. So I hope that you come back on the show sometime. And before we close up, is there a sacred practice that you do that you would like to share with people?
Yeah. So right now, thank you for asking that. Yeah. Right now, my main practice is a Kundalini practice.
Yeah.
So I'm actually in a Kundalini teacher training right now, which is just like totally transforming everything for me. And it's called the Kirtan Kriya.
Oh, I love that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Satanama, Satanama. Oh, so if anybody wants to find that, it's all over the web.
It's all over the web. Hmm.
So how can people find you and receive some of your juicy, amazing gifts of healing?
Yeah, you can find me at youarethemedicine.com. So it's spelled U, the letter R, the medicine.com.
Hmm.
And then my Instagram is Shereen. So it's Shereen and then my name. And yeah, that's kind of the two platforms that I have right now. Yeah, I actually have an offering that I'm creating. So I'm currently creating a group coaching program that blends the eight-limbed path of yoga, Kundalini practices, and the heart of Christ consciousness and biblical wisdom.
Woo! Love it.
So yeah, I'm in the process of creating it and I'm going to start marketing for it, but just helps to pray from an empowered place, a place of authority, and how to consciously co-create your reality with God through embodiment practices.
Oh, that sounds so amazing. Well, thank you for joining. Until next time, stay inspired and find those sacred moments. Thank you for joining me on Dr. Crystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. If today's episode lifted you up, I'd love if you shared it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps more people discover these stories of light and transformation. And if you'd like to work with me more closely, head over to www.drcrystalkinnunen.com. And as a thank you for listening to the show, you'll receive $20 off your first session. Details are also in the show notes. Remember, in this time of rapid change and transformation, you are not alone. You are part of a greater shift, and your inspired life matters. Until next time, let's be inspired.